thousands of hours of practice is, at least as a drum set player, moving toward that place where it becomes an actually expressive instrument, and improvisation is the way that the instrument becomes an extension of your body. So when I talk about teaching improvisation, that might set off some skepticism, some alarm bells, because there's a widely held belief that improvisation is something that you're just kind of born able to do or not. You're either a creative person or you're not. And this stems from the idea that improvisation is a gift and not a skill. But the first thing we're going to do, this is the first misconception I want to try to dispel. And what we're going to do throughout this clinic is treat improvisation as just another skill, right? Like other improvisational games, like soccer. No one would say you can't get better at soccer by doing certain drills and creative exercises. Now, I have a theory about why this is a widely held belief, and it's the same theory that I think explains why so few drummers are comfortable improvising on the drums. And it's this. So I went to Berklee College of Music. A lot of my friends went to music college. I am particularly excited to share my pet theory here because a lot of you, this is a particularly highly educated group of drummers. You may have gone to music school or have a music teacher and so forth. And what happens in music education typically is we get a really standardized form of harmonic and melodic theory, pretty much no matter where you study Western music, the 12-tone scale. But you don't get any form of rhythmic theory. We don't even call it that. So if you've been to music school, when you encounter harmonic theory, they teach you to compose and therefore improvise chord progressions. And they teach you to do this in a way that is not only technically correct, but there are moves that you make that have a musical impact for the listener. So a secondary dominant, a modal interchange, these types of moves that I barely remember from my music education 12 years ago. And then melodic theory, no one calls it that, but basically once we learn harmonic theory, we learn specific strategies for writing melodies through those harmonies that are, again, technically correct and have a musical effect if used in certain ways. Now, I'm yet to talk to any friend who went to music school who says they encountered an equivalent version of rhythmic theory, where you learn to compose and therefore improvise interesting and unique rhythms, sort of pre-instrument, you can imagine. So this, I think, is the source of most people's, explanation-wise, my hunch is that there is this assumption that if you understand the nuts and bolts of notation, like that the dot adds 50% to the duration, these types of things, then you can therefore improvise in the language. But that is a big gap, and the experience of writing notation is very different from the experience of creating a rhythm on the fly. So for that and some other reasons, I think that is why so few drummers come out of even music schools, even respected music schools, having encountered any system for learning improvisation at all. And since there is no system for doing so, standardized system for doing so, that feeds back into the idea that the people that can do it just can do it because they have a gift. Because if there's no way of learning it, the only people who are going to figure it out are those who are actually just really naturals at it. They have a knack for it. And that's just a matter of luck for the most part. So this is where I try to insert myself in the drum education landscape. Like I said, improvisation has always been the goal for me. And what I do on the website is teach improvisation with systematic methods. What I want to do in this clinic is talk through, wow, nice timing, Ben. The three main principles of my approach to teaching improvisation on the drums. My hope here is not actually to teach you how to improvise here or teach you how to teach your students how to improvise, is to teach you a framework that you can use to filter your own ideas through and teach improvisation in a way that is not, channel the muses, light some candles, and let's see what happens. So that's what we're up to here. The first principle on the list here is rhythmic vocabulary. Rhythmic vocabulary is your ability to come up with interesting and unique rhythms that you can control and understand on the fly, right? So it's your ability to go dum, gat, boom, ba, ba, ta-gum, gat, 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 gum, do-go, gat, 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 dum, do-go, gat, gat, etc. It's your fluency in the language of rhythm, and this is exactly the thing that is missing, right? Like I wrote here, rhythmic vocabulary is what we need. So rhythmic vocabulary is the root of all creative drumming because rhythmic vocabulary transcends orchestration. Let's demonstrate this to put some meat on the bones there. So like I said, if I have rhythmic vocabulary, if I have a free-flowing rhythmic vocabulary that's pulling from a lot of options, dum, tgum, ba, bom, bom, ba, ba, dum, do da, da. I can bring that to the drums with no patterns and no speed and no fancy independence. I can just muscle it out, right? So no patterns, no speed, just rhythmic vocabulary, and things are happening. Again, it transcends orchestration. So that same rhythmic vocabulary, instead of muscling out on the toms, I can deliver to the kick drum and use the same rhythmic vocabulary on the kick drum. Boom, tgum, tgum, boom, 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 ba-dum, dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum. Right? If I'm playing a groove, I could put that on a ride. So again, no speed, no fancy patterns required, but actually interesting, good drumming and improvisational drumming. So that's what we mean when we say rhythmic vocabulary is the root of all creative drumming. Now orchestration, patterns, speed, independence, these things are all super important. But what they do is they enhance the underlying rhythms. So the rhythms themselves are the substance of drum improvisation. And dressing it up, that's what we do with that thing. So to illustrate the point even further, consider the opposite. So what I just talked about is having a large rhythmic vocabulary that I bring to the drum set and decide how to play. Most drummers are in sort of the opposite position, where unknowingly they have a very limited rhythmic vocabulary. That means they're playing the same rhythms, underlying rhythms all the time, but they're dressing them up in fancy ways. So you might be playing over a samba, you might be playing a ride groove, a funk beat, you might be playing double bass. It might look very different on the surface what you're doing, but the substance of the improvisation and the substance of drumming is rhythm. The rhythms are always the same, and that is the source of that creeping feeling that you're always playing the same thing. So what I want to do first to demonstrate rhythmic vocabulary is play a very short solo that is rhythmic vocabulary forward. So I'm going to try to not use impressive speed, and not to the degree that I even have it, not use fancy independence that I may have built up, not use really any patterns besides maybe some single strokes. And the point here, and what I want you to be thinking about as you watch this, is that if you don't have your speed together, and you don't have your fancy independence, and you don't know your rudiments super well, those aren't actually barriers to improvising on the drums, and they're not barriers to improvising well and musically effectively on the drums. Okay, so we'll play a sec.
seemed fast there weren't fast. They weren't speed, they were agility, right? So some of the doom, 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 sounds fast, fast tempo, quick subdivision. But if you isolate a single hand, right, it's just going ding, 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 ding. So we don't need the speed. We don't need any fancy independence. I was keeping some left foot time. I know that can be a challenge. But the point is, rhythmic vocabulary is enough. So the point is, back to our thing, thank you. Rhythmic vocabulary is what we need in order to improvise. And this was the initial light bulb moment that led to all the success teaching on my website. I was actually sitting across from a student in the room, and he was a relatively new drummer, and we were trying to figure out how to start learning to improvise, and this was the moment. But we can't just say, okay, cool, start thinking melodically. Think musically. And this is actually advice that you do hear sometimes. But if we knew how to think melodically, we would already be doing it. So the next thing we need, number 2, melodic strategies. This is how we build rhythmic vocabulary. And the way we can think about melodic strategies are, these are ways of playing an unfolding rhythm that you can control and understand and manipulate on the fly, that you wouldn't have played if you were just guessing. And a lot of what we're trying to do right now is give ourselves ways to stop guessing on the drums, to stop going, here goes nothing, I hope this works. That's not what it should feel like to do controlled improvisation, and that's not what it feels like when you watch your favorite drummer improvising on the kit. So you can think of melodic strategies like a game, and there are rules to the game that are tightly constrained. And if you master the game, you end up playing an unfolding melody that you can control and understand and manipulate on the fly. So let's learn a couple. The first one that I get a lot of mileage out of on my website is called the down-up method. The down-up method is relatively simple. I'm going to take this off so I can see you guys over here too. The down-up method, conceptually simple. This is a great place that people start, but this is also something that generalizes throughout your drumming. I still use this all the time in my own playing. Essentially, we have a downbeat track and an upbeat track. And our goal, the rules of the game, is I want to jump from one track to the other and back at will, without losing track of where beat 1 is. So it might look like this. We have 16th note grid, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E, and my 1 and 2 and are going to be downbeats. Down, 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 down. My E's and A's are upbeats. A 1 E, up, E, up, 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 up. Now, you can imagine if you were learning this sort of systematically, you do some examples that familiarize you with the melodies and just the act of playing it and keeping track of where beat 1 is and going over the bar line. We're going to assume we just did that, and we arrive at that first milestone. I can do the down-up method. I can switch when I want, and I don't lose track of anything. Down, 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 up, 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 down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. So, it's real improvisation. It's obviously not cool. Melodic strategies are never cool. It's what you build on top of them that is cool, and it's the melodic strategy that makes all that building possible. So let's get to that precipice. So, to bring this to the drum set, I'll play all the melody notes with my right hand and ghost notes with my left. So if I'm singing down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, up. Now let's say I did the work, I feel comfortable improvising the down-up method on my rag tom. Everyone in this room could certainly get to this milestone in a few days or weeks. 3 E and a 4 E and a down, 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 up, down, down, up, 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 down, 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 up, up, down, 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 up, down. Okay, now let's expand the melodic strategy a little further. It's really monotonous. How can we add space? What we can do is we can move some of these accent notes and just make them ghost notes. But what that allows me to do is keep thinking down-ups, and I'll just not play all of them. So I'm thinking really simple thoughts. You're going to receive something more complicated. Down, down, up, 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 down, 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 up, up, down, down, up, up, up. orchestrate that a little bit, it starts to be almost cool. Not quite, but it is real improvisation, and we have a way of thinking about it, and we have guidelines that help us not guess. And we wouldn't have played this without doing the method. Next, we need a way to add notes to the melody, make it busier. And what we can do here, every left hand, the left hand's just playing ghost notes. Any of those could be a target for an accent. So if I'm playing a bunch of downs, a bunch of ups, and now if I give myself the ability to add those notes, remove those notes, now it's starting to be almost cool. It feels musical to do. Here's what it sounds like. 3 and a 4 and a... You get the idea. So, I'm really improvising. I have a melodic strategy that helps me not guess, and on top of that, we're going to be able to build a lot of really cool stuff, which we'll do in a sec, but not right now. So that's one melodic strategy, the down-up method. Another melodic strategy that's pattern-based. So the down-up method, essentially, when you follow the rules, you create a melody, and we're not really thinking about patterns. Like, we need to play like singles to make them happen, basically, but that's not the way we're approaching it. Another melodic strategy is one that helps you take a pattern and get it off the practice pad, basically, turn it into a little world of improvisation. Let's take the paradiddle. This is a room of drummers, it's a drum convention, we have to talk about the paradiddle. So the paradiddle, in recent years, became like a revelation to me. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much great vocabulary I can play with the paradiddle, which for the first 20 years of my drumming, I didn't realize. What we can do is called the stutter and extend approach, and it's conceptually very simple again. Paradiddle, paradiddle. I can stutter the para, that's to make the pattern shorter. Paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. A simple melodic strategy to allow me to play melodies with a pattern that is otherwise melodically stagnant, it's just quarter notes. And then I can extend the diddles. Paradiddle, paradiddle, diddle, 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 paradiddle, diddle, diddle, paradiddle, paradiddle, diddle, diddle, diddle. That's the whole rule of the game. And we'll get fancier with it. But for now, next time you play paradiddles on a practice pad and you're warming up, try this, because you can simultaneously be practicing improvising in a way that, and this is the best thing, from the practice pad to the drum set is immediately useful, and there's no adaptation phase required. So the stutter and extend approach. Let me do just para stutters first, stuttering the para. Paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. This vocabulary can go really fast if you wanted to. Now let's just extend the diddles. Paradiddle, diddle, 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 paradiddle, diddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, 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 diddle, paradiddle, diddle, 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 paradiddle, paradiddle. Now let me give myself both the stutters and the extends. We'll go slow first, and I'll do it here so you can really hear what I'm doing. Paradiddle, 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 diddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, diddle, paradiddle, paradiddle, diddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, paradiddle, par. So this is a simple, conceptually simple melodic strategy that turns the paradiddle into a little world of improvisation. So we've got a melodic-based melodic strategy. We've got a pattern-based melodic strategy. Now let's look at a groove-based melodic strategy. And for the teachers in the room, or the students in the room, I want to encourage you to think while I'm talking about this, like, with whatever you're practicing, how could you make some kind of melodic strategy out of the material, out of the patterns you're using, out of the sort of way you're playing melodies on the kit, and so forth. Most of the time we spend our time playing grooves on the drums. A couple melodic strategies for playing grooves. we could bring in our down-up method. Like I said in the beginning, the reason that rhythmic vocabulary is the root of all creative drumming is that it generalizes across drumming domains. It transcends the orchestration. So I can bring my down-up method now, which I already got good at, already did 80% of the work, and bring it in here. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, backbeat. Very monotonous. Now I can give myself the on-off switch. Remove notes. Keep them in here, don't play them down there. Right, some things are starting to happen that are a little fancy too. There's some groups of 5, some groups of 3 happening, but I'm not thinking about the math of them, I'm just thinking about the down-up method. That's one melodic strategy. Another melodic strategy I really like is to play groups of 3 and stutter them. So again, all I'm introducing here as a general concept is find a pattern or a looping thing and find a way to manipulate it that you can control. So we have groups of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, the kick drum, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dotted eighth notes. And whenever I want, I'll add a 1 note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. So that gives me a stutter. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You can imagine the learning process here would first be master the groups of 3, and then start manipulating them in this way. So then I can play kind of cool grooves. And then we get to a beautiful moment where now in a groove context, I know 2 melodic strategies, and I can move between them. Down, down, up, 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 down, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, up, 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 down, 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 up, up, down, 3, 3, 3, right? And if I stop singing and you don't know what I'm thinking, even if you do know what I'm thinking, you're not going to be able to guess the rules of the game anymore, right? Then we're starting to have cool drumming happen, but we're not guessing. We have ways of thinking about it that are really quite simple, conceptually, once we get the coordination worked out. And notice, we worked with the paradiddle, and that requires some pattern and some coordination work, but a lot of what we're doing right now doesn't require anything super fancy that you're gonna need to spend 2 years, building up. A left foot clave ostinato or some really crazy push-pull technique. It's all based on the rhythmic vocabulary. Okay, so the third thing on the list, well, this brings us to the third thing on the list. Again, rhythmic vocabulary is what we need in order to improvise because the substance of improvisation is the underlying rhythm. But we can't just magically think melodically. We need ways of doing it, unless we're super magically talented. Melodic strategies, that's how we build it. That's what we just talked about. And melodic strategies, as you build them out, turn into, number 3, subsets of vocabulary. This is how we organize our vocabulary and therefore strategize with it. This is where everything gets cool. So, the misconception that subsets of vocabulary try to dispel here is that improvisation is random drumming. And what I mean by that is, by random drumming, it's easy to think that improvisation is anything you could play. Patterns, melodies, you're taking one out of a bucket at random and putting it next. And that just isn't how it works, and it can't be how it works, and it's not how our minds organize information naturally. So what you'll find is, you've got, if whatever vocabulary you feel comfortable playing, maybe it's based on this certain pattern, there are a couple other patterns that come with it. They're sort of supportive patterns that make it possible to do stuff with that pattern, because otherwise you're just repeating one pattern. So this is a subset of vocabulary, and what we can do is we can train these together. You find compatible patterns and train them together, which gives you a subset of vocabulary. I'll demonstrate this in a sec. And every subset of vocabulary in itself is sufficient for improvisation, and it contains a melodic strategy, at least in the way that I teach it. So let's build on some of the examples that we were just talking about. The down-up method. We got far enough that it was almost cool, but we didn't have some crucial elements of the drums involved. We don't have no kick drum, right? We left off orchestrating, adding space, adding positive space, making it busier, but we were stuck just kind of moving around the toms. It was this. I want kick drums. Okay, now I'm building my subset of vocabulary, which means I'm starting to ask the question, what if? What could I do? What if I had kick drum in here? I need kick drum, I want kick drum. What if I just substitute for my hands? Substituting a kick drum in for a hand note. You can imagine that this takes some work, but not so much work, right? So this is what I mean when I say I teach step-by-step courses. If you can master the melodic strategy, then it's tiny steps. You add this variation, the next variation, kick drums, a new orchestration, a different pattern. And what you find is at the end of 10 or 12 times you've done that, you have a ton of variation in your playing, but you've maintained the control and understanding all the way through the process so that you improvise with control and understanding, and you're not guessing at what you do. And you all the way through have an underlying way of thinking about it, which in this case is the melodic strategy, the down-up method. So now, let's say I've integrated my kick drum, I did that work for a week or two, and now it starts to sound actually cool, right? Maybe I switch to some left-hand lead. That's another what if that I do. What if I use my left hand? And now, the down-up method, which was previously very stale, is becoming a subset of vocabulary that, again, is sufficient for improvisation and that contains a melodic strategy. It's a subset of vocabulary. I'm starting to build that. Let's build another subset of vocabulary that's pattern-based. This is a student favorite popular course on my website, but it's based on the right, left, left kick pattern, which is... So when you learn a pattern, a lot of people encounter that pattern. Learn the pattern, you're gonna need it, but then the first question is, okay, I can't just repeat the pattern. I can't just keep this pattern in a little box on my shelf and unpack it when I need it and put it back away. It has to be with other stuff that it gets mixed with. And this, we can build a subset of vocabulary with by thinking about what it goes well with. What would allow us to improvise with it? So in this case, we have our group of 4. We can add a group of 2, which is right, left. Right, left, left kick, right, left kick, right, left, left. It's kind of a stutter, an extended approach, stuttering only. And then the melodic strategy becomes rearrange the 4s and 2s on the fly. If you can do that, you'll be playing an unfolding melody that you can control and build upon with variations. Okay, let's do that. 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. Okay, not cool. Never cool when we just have the melodic strategy, but kind of almost cool. Okay, another coincidence here, this results in down-up melodies. So your down-up method can actually be a way of thinking about this. Down, 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 up, 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 down beat, down, up beat, up, down beat, down, up beat, up, down. So, we have a melodic strategy, we have some patterns, and then we can add variations. Okay, let's first take our 2 pattern and put 2 accents. 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4. Killing, we can put an alternate 4 pattern. So instead of right, left, left kick, we do right, left, kick, kick. I'll put that on the floor tom so you can hear it. making it obvious, already this starts to sound hard to follow from the audience perspective. And then we start asking questions. We're building a subset. How can I use flams? The group of two could be flam kick. We only use them sometimes. What if I just turn it on and off? Starting to get pretty cool. Very boxy. What if I add some groups of three? I want even numbers for now, so let's go right, left, kick, right, left, kick. It gives me a new melody that I don't already have. All vocabulary that we just talked about, and again, what I want you to imagine, I don't want you to imagine doing that now today, you just learned all that. Each one of these steps might take a week or 2 weeks to get down, but the point I'm trying to make is that there is a way to do this systematically that gets you to a point where you have a ton of improvisation vocabulary to use. Great. Now, let's take one more subset and let's build it out. And then I'll play some fancy drum solo at the end to demonstrate. If I'm early, we might even have time for questions in case you are thinking of any. So, again, I want to demonstrate what it looks like to encounter a pattern. This is just very common, so I want to just drill down on it. Encounter a pattern that is cool, and then try to make something of that pattern other than just the pattern itself. Because when you look at your favorite drummers playing, pretty much never are they going like, deploy the pattern, like the one I was working on yesterday, here we go, right? So there's always a way of playing with the pattern, of manipulating it on the fly. So one of my favorite patterns is this group of 5. Flam kick, right, left kick. If we put it in 16 notes, 3 and a 4 and a 4. Really fun pattern. But it's just a pattern. And it's going to feel really like we're not improvising if we're just going pattern go. So let's apply the stutter and extend approach. Let's build a subset around this pattern. If we want to stutter the pattern, shorten it, we could say flam, we could just double the flam. Or we could take flam kick and stutter that. Only sometimes. We could, we'll stop there. We could extend the pattern by doubling the kick at the end. Flam kick, right, left kick, kick. Those are group of 6. We're playing 6s and 5s. We're playing groups of 11. Things are getting crazy, but we have a way of thinking about it. We're not approaching it from like a let's do the math perspective. We're approaching it from a I have a pattern that sounds cool, let's make it useful perspective, and you'll just end up doing complicated stuff. We could extend by taking the flam kick right, left, and go right, left, extend those singles. We could extend the right, left kick that's at the end. Flam kick, right, left kick. Right, and then I give myself all of these, and suddenly this pattern, through a melodic strategy called the stutter and extend approach, became a subset of vocabulary. Okay, folks, so those are the three main principles of my teaching approach. Really, the biggest takeaway here is that like teaching improvisation doesn't have to be this mysterious light some candles things. These are the things that I have found in my teaching work well for unlocking that with students of all levels. And one of the things I love about my website, there are beginner drummers and there are professional drummers. And they study the same courses, which a lot of people just don't believe. But if you take into account that many professional drummers who are touring arenas bigger than I'll ever play never encountered a coherent system for learning improvisation, it's actually not surprising. They'll pick it up a lot faster, but the beginners and some of these professionals are studying the same courses on the site, and I find that really heartening. A couple notes before I finish, and these feel very important. One, you might have heard your favorite drummer say something like, you know, what are you thinking when you're playing? And they say, nothing. Things are just flowing out. I'm just opening the faucet and letting it go. And that might sound really different from what I'm talking about. You might be like, I'm skeptical of this, JP, because that doesn't sound like just letting it flow, man. You're like talking about systems and stuff. The drummers that you're talking about are absolutely right. That is the goal. The goal is actually effortless flow that you are not thinking about, to become a channel and let it all come through you. That's great. But like I said in the beginning, almost no one just wills themselves there. Right? And when you think of the greatest people at anything, right? The Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, whoever it might be, it's the technical practice that paves the way for the effortlessness. And so these things I'm telling you, and the courses on my website, and what I do with students, are all a means to an end. And the end is truly effortless flow. And what you do with these things, it primes you to experience that. The second thing I want to mention is that you might also be thinking, if I do these, if I go through this process, I'm just going to sound like you, JP. And this was a genuine concern of mine when I started doing this, but it was immediately resolved because what actually happens is exactly the opposite. So when you think about this as a language, it is through learning to speak the language, and again, the language of drumming is rhythm. To speak rhythm fluently is to learn to improvise. You have to do that in order to discover that you have anything to say in the first place. You keep in mind that most drummers are literally repeating patterns that they're learning from other drummers. Then this is just, you know, like when I'm teaching my daughter to read right now, we're reading a lot of sentences that other people wrote. But that paves the way for her to be able to express herself in a way that she can control and, crucially, understand, right? Ways of thinking about the language. These are vowels, and they do these types of things. These are consonants, blah, blah, blah. Here's how the grammar works. That's what we're doing on the drums. I'm not trying to make you sound like me. Essentially, we pave the path, and then you get to the end of a course, and this is where the real magic happens. I have to just cut courses off somewhere. Okay, no more variations. It's only going to be 20 lessons. And then students go, cool, but what if I add a double bass? What if I apply this in triplets? They start asking questions that are relevant to them. And that's where it really extra becomes their vocabulary and their voice on the drums. Okay. I think that's it. Let's play a little drums, bring it home. Thanks for your patience listening to this. And so, in the spirit of the clinic, we'll improvise a drum solo. And listen for some things that maybe we just talked about. I'm not going to try to use them actually. But they're in there. This is real vocabulary I use. But more than anything, listen to when you hear repetition of a thing. Just notice that there's a thing, that there's a melodic strategy manipulating. Right? So all the vocabulary we're about to play, again, is coming from rhythmic vocabulary. There's a rhythmic stream of consciousness that is improvised rhythm. And then there's the treatment of that rhythm. How is it orchestrated on the drums? And you improvise those simultaneously. Or you lock one in place for a second. Or you lock the other one in place for a second. Okay, thanks for listening.